Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, Tracy. Good morning. Hi, Irie. Good health, sweetie. Yes, how are you? How are you doing? Got my coffee. Does anybody ever drink coffee and think the world can just stop now? Like, I'm happy. That's how I feel with coffee some mornings, every morning. Today in particular, just so happy. Good health and happy Tuesday, Ava. Good health, Miss Net Net. How is everyone doing today? Jakari, good morning. Why haven't I seen you in a while? Do I remember you? How are you? Look at this pretty stone. Can you get prettier than this? No, you can't. You can't. Look at that. Two-pointed clear quartz. I got it from Escribo Gems. So freaking pretty. Got a lot of stuff from Escribo Gems. I just put them all out too. Let me close up my closet. What am I doing? Very unprofessional of me. But then I don't try to be professional. I'm a psychic. Beyond that, we're not trying to be professional. Do you know a psychic that's professional? Really? Do you really know one that's professional? And if she is, don't trust her. Because most psychics are wackadoo. If you find one very put together, don't trust her. She's a charlatan. Good morning. Morning. So remember, guys, I told you that I brought this protein shake and it ruined my bum bum. Well, I got used to drinking the protein shake, but I will never buy another protein shake if it has iron in it. It was the iron that I have an allergy to that compacted me and really compromised me. Like, I think I bled for like 4 days. It was terrible. I am healed now, right? But I have to bring a sample of my bum bum to the doctors tomorrow. So I just want to make sure that there was no blood in the stool, because if there is, you know, they start all this probing and investigation. You have this, you have that. And no one's going to believe me if I go, no, it's bleeding hemorrhoids. No one's going to believe me. They're going to want to, you know, dig around a little. And I don't want that. So I believe I'm completely free of any blood in my stool. In any case, it's been over a week, so I think I'll be okay with giving the doctor a sample tomorrow. Ugh. Bodily fluids. What do you do? You gotta live with it. The bodily fluids. All right. I actually wanted to do a reading on Florida today. I'm obsessed with Florida. Everybody in my spiritual group knows I am completely obsessed with Florida. I cannot stop looking at the images. It's a train wreck, right? So I cannot stop looking at the images that shows me, like Daytona Beach is the beach. Like, I am mortified at how bad things are in some parts of Florida. Mortified. Like, can you understand? Is anybody investing in, it's a war zone. It's a goddamn war zone. Florida might as well be Ukraine. Am I the crazy one? It's a goddamn war zone. Spiritually, if I look at it from a spiritual perspective, it looks to me like the gods and goddesses of anger came through like a really bad Chinese movie, right? Have you ever seen a Chinese movie? Mufasa and Godzilla? You know Godzilla, right? But the Chinese version, not the American version. Fuck the American version. That's all digitized. The Chinese version was amazing, right? Black and white, grainy. Ah! Ah! Do you remember that? I grew up with the black and white Chinese version of Godzilla. That's Daytona Beach. Real life Chinese version movie came through. But let's call it a hurricane. Let's do that. These are the gods and goddesses of anger that came through Florida. Like, my spiritual group knows, obsessed. Obsessed. And I want them to invest in me, but nobody's like really investing. I'm like, guys, look at this video. Look at this news station. Like, I'm begging my spiritual group to invest in what I am mortified about. They're not trying to have my crazy, but I keep posting. Do you know that 100 people drowned in Florida? Drowned. Did they announce that in the 50 states? No. I'll tell you. 100 people drowned. I'm only up to 30. See what that feels like? I'm only up to 50. 100 people drowned. hmm hmm Florida needs some prayer. These politicians got us all this mojo. Thank you. What do you mean by that, Miss Shay? Expound on that. Hi, Lisa D. Let's see what everybody's saying. Expound on that, Miss Shay. What do you mean these politicians got us with all this mojo? What's going? What do you mean by that? Deborah's like, I keep telling people Florida's the Wild Wild West. The gods and goddesses of anger are telling certain parts of Florida, move and don't come back. Yes, you got it. You got it, Miss Shay, Florida. You got it. The gods of anger. You got it. True facts. You got me, Tiffany, right? Right? Y'all are talking the same language, Miss Tiffany. I'm obsessed with Florida. Only 18% of Floridians have insurance. Those that do have insurance pay anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 a month. So you know what people decided to do? Not get insurance. hmm hmm Thinking, fuck it, something like this will never happen. But they had yachts. They had $50,000, $100,000 yachts, but wouldn't insure their property. Make it make sense. So then the gods of anger took the yachts and slammed the yachts into their front lawns. It looked like matchbox cars that my grandson would be playing with. And you're like, what happened? Oh, this was that pile. It's a car crash story. That's a car crash? Yeah, Dory, it's a car crash. This looks very violent to me, Ezra. Why? I don't understand. I don't know. Somebody can't drive. That's what it looked like to me. One of Ezra's games with cars. Let me tell you what they didn't tell us. When Ian came through, they did not tell us how bad Daytona got it. Supposedly, maybe. Florida's just lying right now. Omission of the truth is a lie. So now when Nicole came through, and Nicole was like the gods and goddesses of anger, said, well, we already went over there, but let's stay right here. Let's stay in Daytona Beach. It just looked like a monster took concrete and they were dancing all over Daytona Beach, dancing in the rain. I'm pulling up concrete. I'm dancing. Oh my God. It looks like a war zone. There's not enough money to fix this. Did you see the condos? Okay, because I'm obsessed, right? And unless you understand why I'm crazy right now, it's I don't know if we can be friends, right? You know what I once said to myself? Sorry for anybody that lives in Miami. I once said to myself, you know those condos that are on the beach? I once said to myself, how can those condos withstand a terrible storm? Right? But then I was like, this is all about engineering, Tracy. You don't know about engineering. They wouldn't put high rises like that on the beach if they actually knew. Have you guys ever seen, this is before climate change. We're not talking about climate change right now. We're talking about 15, 20 years ago. We got to go way back. And remember they used to put out these movies, what would happen if there's a mega storm? What would happen if there was a mega wave? Remember those movies back in the day? Back then I was riveted. I'd be like, well, what would happen if 100-foot wave crashed into a high-rise building? Does the building fall? Let me tell you something about Hollywood. Imitation repeats life. I don't know what the saying is. You know what I'm talking about. Imitation copies life. Life copies imitation. Imitation, you know what the hell I'm talking about. Every time you see something like that, it's already happening. Why? Because there's already an alternate universe where it's being seen in advance. Okay, now I know you think I'm crazy, and I got you. I'm completely crazy. I got you. But there's an alternate universe where it's already happening. It's seen in advance. We're just getting it right now. Mm-hmm. I'm upset with, maybe I'm upset with water. It's water. I'm obsessed with water. You know why? Because the glaciers are melting. I'm upset that the climate change has the glaciers melting and we can't stop it. The glaciers are going to become a desert. Where are the Eskimos going to go? How do we save the Eskimos? This is a one-woman show. I'm not going to solve this problem. I don't have the intelligence or the wherewithal to solve this problem. I only have spiritual insight. Where are the Eskimos going to go? Where is Florida going to go? I know where they're going to go. They're going to take their racist asses and go back to Wisconsin, Missouri, Ohio, Alabama. You got to go back home. You all can't communicate in one state and be racist. I'm here to be racist. That's the only reason why I'm here, to be racist. I'm here to vote red. I don't even like the red people. I'm just making sure blacks don't get none of this Daytona Beach. Now you don't have it either. I'm done. You know I have to bring racism in here somehow. All right. God is angry. Yes. Mother Earth is doing the most. Mother Earth. I've never been more fearful of Mother Earth in my freaking life. I've never been more fearful. Yep. It's all about how the state is being represented and its energy, right? When we talk about energy, and it's palpable in Florida, it's palpable. The energy comes back home. You keep putting out dirt, you keep putting out dirt, dirt returns. All right. Most of the New York East Coast relatives retired, sold their homes. So, oh my God, sold their homes and relocated to Florida. The move has been one disappointment after another. Yeah, yeah. Good morning, Tracy, and good health to all. Hi, sweetie. Thanks for prayers, my brother. It worked. Aww. Of course it worked. We believe in the power of prayer, and we believe in the power of community prayer. What does it say in the Bible? We're more than one praise. We're two or more praise. The prayer is more palpable. By the way, that's a stupid saying. We're two or more pray. It's stupid. I'm pretty sure that was man-made, that saying. If you are praying silently, your prayers are heard. You ever watch A Wonderful Life? There's a part in A Wonderful Life where the angel is talking to God. And they're looking out amongst the community, but from a God's point of view. I'm just tired of the air conditioning right now. And if I remember correctly, I might be getting this a little bit wrong, but some were stars sparkling and some were dim and some were brighter. And Clarence, who's the angel, crazy. He was like the nuttiest angel ever, right? Just trying to get his wings, but he was nutty. He was like ditzy, right? And so he says to God, he goes, why are some lights brighter than others? And I'm paraphrasing because I can't really remember, but if I can get that piece for you, I'll play it tomorrow. Because It's a Wonderful Life is one of my favorite movies. It is about good and evil. That's why it's one of my favorite movies, because it's about good and evil. And I watched that movie when my grandson was being born. That's how much that movie's important to me. I was in the hospital watching that movie while my grandson, nobody was watching TV, and I was watching it at home, and they disturbed me and said, the baby's about to be born. And I was like, what? And I was like, well, I don't think she's going to have the baby right away if I just sit here. and leave at 11 because at the time the movie was going to be over and leave at 11. You know, I'm pretty sure the baby's not going to be here. Just because somebody's going into labor don't mean the baby's going to pop right out, right? I know motherhood, right? But then I was like, wow, you're really selfish. And I was like, oh God. I was like, well, I'll go to the hospital, but I hope there's a TV, right? So I get there, sure enough, there's a TV. You know, the mommy doesn't have it on, and I was like, I don't stand these people. Why are we not watching TV? So I did my greetings. Hello, sweetie. How's everything? Baby's almost here, huh? And she goes, yeah, I'm just, just waiting. Belly's out to there. So I sat next to her and I said, are you going to watch TV? And she goes, no, 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 no. Just going to wait for the baby to come. And I said, oh. Well, if you give me the remote control, I'm sure I can find something to put on. Like, not to disturb you, but I'm pretty sure there's got to be something on while we wait for this miraculous event. Can I have the remote control? And she gave it to me. She had no idea, right? She gave it to me, turned it on. At the time, it used to come on Channel 4. I don't know what channel comes on anymore. Turned it on. This is me in the hospital room. Everybody else is talking around me. They're doing this. The mother, the father, the grandparents, the other grandparents. And I'm like this. George, George. This is very good. This is one of the best scenes right here. In any case, there's a part in the beginning of the movie where they say, why are some lights bright and some light and God goes, because I'm paraphrasing, right? But God goes, because some prayers are more meaningful. And the ones that really mean it, I'm paraphrasing, that's not what he said, but this is the gist of it from Tracey's brain, right? The ones that are brighter are the ones that are meaningful. I don't know why I brought that up, but I love the movie. It's a Wonderful Life. I can't help myself. Let me see what everybody's saying. They were put there for money and a spirit. Oh, what? What? Do you mean this was a mind game? Wait a second, Deborah. Do you mean this was a whole plan? Deborah, is that what you're saying? Mind blown right now. My mind is blown right now. My mind is blown. So the encouragement was to get a group of red-minded state racist people together in one. So I wonder if they did it with other states too. I wonder if Colorado was a state that was planned to be like that. Arizona went blue, by the way. Good for Arizona. Um, did Nevada go blue? Does anybody know if Nevada went blue? Because Nevada went blue for Biden, and it went blue for Obama second term. Because I was there. I was there. Did I tell you? You know the stories. You don't know the stories of Tracey. I'm not going to make this long, but fuck it. It's my stories, my channel. Listen to me. So I signed up. How I signed up, I don't know. They were like, sign up, come to Nevada and knock on doors. I did that. I knocked on doors because I was passionate. I'm not even sure what I'm passionate about. You know what I think I was more passionate about? I was more passionate. Where's my thing at? Why can't I find it? I was more passionate about being around people. That's a real passion of mine, right? Why can't I find it? That's really a more passionate thing. I like being around people. So I signed up. Some couple picked me up. We drove down to Nevada from California. It's not far. It's like anywhere between 5.5, 6 hours. I stayed in somebody's house that signed up to take in strangers. Funniest thing ever. I don't know if I would do that, but you know, there are people out there that love that shit. Just come on in. Yes, we're voting and we're fighting to turn, and you can just come into my home. I would not, but you know, they invited me into their house, and this particular couple, she must have had like 5 or 6 people in their house. And I knocked on doors and I said to everyone, you know, that I knocked on the doors, like, can you vote blue? Can you vote Obama? Blah, 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 blah. And it was cool. It was cool. It's no big deal. It was cool. However, it worked. Knocking on doors worked. We absolutely turned Nevada blue for Obama's second term. All right. All right. It is what it is. Let me see what everybody's saying. Hollywood is predictive programming, according to some. Deborah, who are you? You are just spouting just knowledge here. I love that. Sophia, thank you. God, your brother is on the mend. Oh, thanks so much, Lisa D. She says, hallelujah, Sophia. To God be the glory. Oh, yeah, we understood. Hollywood, here goes Deborah again. Hollywood may have those psychics working with them who can see dimensions of the future. Well, that's possible. Can I tell you what happened to me? You know, I always got a story. You know those videos that I did during the Trump era? You all didn't notice that I did those videos very, very wonky. Very, very wonky. Because I didn't want a Trump or a Trump base to see how accurate I was. I wanted them to see me looking crazy and ditzy. I wanted that so that they wouldn't call on me. Because it's completely possible to remote view. I've done it before, right? It's not my gift, but if I'm forced to remote view, I can remote view, right? I didn't know I had the gift until I needed to have the gift. And I didn't want them to pinpoint the accuracy on Trump and make me use it for Trump. Thank God Trump doesn't quite believe in that kind of stuff, but there are people in the administration that does. That's why Biden's inaugural time changed. The minute he put his hand on the Bible, it was supposed to be, I forget, was it supposed to be like at 12 noon? It wasn't. Whatever it was just before that time. And that could only mean an astrologist had to pinpoint the exact moment of when his administration could be successful. Look at it next time. It was like, it was supposed to be at 12 noon, but maybe I'm wrong. But there's a specific time that everyone puts their hand on a Bible. And with Biden, it was something like 11:37. Yep. Only an astrologer would have changed that. And that would have meant heavy astrology work. That would have meant in depth, pinpointing to the exact moment that it would have worked for him to have the best administration. True story. Well, true story from a psychic perspective. Unity and prayers. Yeah. Thanks, Miss Shay. Oh. Hi, Lolita. Good health. Deborah, love that film. It's about sacrifice to the collective and a family. Do unto others as they do unto you. You mean It's a Wonderful Life? It's the best movie ever. If you guys, listen, Christmas is coming, right? I watch it every Christmas. If you guys want to have a viewing party, I could do that. I could do it on TikTok if you want to have a viewing party of It's a Wonderful Life. Get some wine and some popcorn and make sure the children are there and try to look at it and see all the faux pas. Because remember, it was about big government and banking and how the banks can change society, remember? And he was like, no, mom and pop works. And remember, he said to all the people that want their money back, because people get crazy, right? Give me my money back. Give me my $10 back. It was a lot back in the day, right? And he was like, I knew you. I knew you from the time I was a kid. Don't do this, right? It's happening right now. Right now, it's happening. It's just a nightmare. It's all a nightmare. Let me see what everybody's saying. Hi, Mama Mia. Must be the first baby because she would know it is a long wait normally. Wait, what happened? What's this baby? Oh, oh yeah, it was her first baby. Yeah, it was her first baby. How would she know? Only I knew. I was like, that baby ain't coming. And I could finish my movie and then Uber over there, right? But she did live on the other side of California, right? I lived in a city, I was in Koreatown, and she lived in a place called the Valley. It's 30 minutes with no traffic. So, well, and do you know I was sitting right in the room when Ezra came through? That's how unsanitary the hospitals had become. I was sitting right there when Ezra came through. It was beautiful, right there. I never thought I would have that experience, except my own experience. But hospitals just got so lax. They were like, no, everybody, the father, her father, her mother, Ezra's father, my son, and me. We're in the room. No mask, no garment to protect the baby from any germs that we brought in from the street. I sat right in the chair and watched that boy come through. I didn't see it from the vagina end, which now I regret not getting up and looking at it. The mother got stuck like this at the vagina end. The mother was like, I didn't get up to see that. But I sat right next to her and I was like, you push, push. You're doing good. Push, 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 push. Oh, no help. But at least I had finished watching It's a Wonderful Life. Now I can invest in getting Ezra here. Tracy, you told us to remind you to tell a story of how your fellow female psychics hang up on you at the Green Man store. All right, we have enough time. Wow, Tracy, clever. What's clever? Yes, some people can go into hypnosis and project into the future. I haven't seen it. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a gift. It's a very good gift. Okay, are you guys down for a viewing party? Your ancient kings consulted astrologers for major events, right? Yes, do the viewing and explain the metaphysics behind it. Well, we got to sit and watch it, and then I can look at the parts and explain how by not doing the right things you can ruin society. Sure, we could do that, but I don't want to stop it and explain it. Just watch it, and then we can talk about it the next day. All right, let's have a viewing party. Yes, a viewing party. IWL. Lisa's like IWL. It's a Wonderful Life. Steven Spielberg, I think, is psychic, or he uses psychic. Some of his movies are weirdly accurate. So it's my impression that certain people are gifted with future events, right? Certain people are gifted, and I think he is highly gifted. He is highly gifted, if not somewhat in touch with some extraterrestrial stuff. Yeah, so true. Tiffany, and I heard he is into the esoteric. Who? Steven Spielberg? Clever for fooling Trump people. I would be down for it. Okay, everybody's down for the viewing party. Okay, we'll do the viewing party. All right. So let me tell you the story of how. All right. So thank you for reminding me, Lisa D. One of my biggest dreams was to have a reality show. No, one of my biggest dreams was to have a talk show of different psychics. I always visioned a round table. I don't know why. At a round table that would give their psychic impression on current events, right? So, for example, before Ian hit, I like if this were a reality show, I would say, how do you think Ian is going to do? Right? And then we would give our psychic impression, right? With Takeoff, right? Who killed Takeoff and why? And we would give our psychic impressions, right? So nothing like that has been seen as of yet. And I thought it would be great to show people, regular folks out there, right? That we're not crazy. We're just like you, but with a specific gift. And then in that show, we can show and explain crystals and the meanings behind crystals, right? We could have authors in the spiritual world. We can talk about totems. Like, it's so expansive, like that there would be these other segments on. And this was at a time when tarot cards were not in abundance, but you can even have like a tarot card review, right? And the different meanings behind tarot cards, because we wound up doing that in my spiritual group where they're doing readings, and which is why I went to Zoom, but where they're doing readings. Let me find something. Here's a good one. No, let me find something else. Find something. All right, I like this one. I think I've shown this one before, maybe, maybe not, where we're doing readings and the type of card that they're using, right, from the regular Rider-Waite, which is the only style that was available in different colors, vibrant, not vibrant, da 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 da. Now all these new age people are coming through with their own tarot cards, right? And their vision helps the vision of the reading, right? Because you would see something. This is an oracle card. You would see something, right? And then you can understand, look at that line going down to this glowing center. And this is what's called chi, right? You create your chi. And with that chi, you can do anything with this energy. Jason once gave a class on Qigong that I invited you all to. And he taught us, as I'm starting to do it, my hands are vibrating. He taught us how to capture the chi and feel the energy bouncing off. And what do you want to do with that energy? What do you want to send out? Do you want to send out love? Right? In any case, I wanted a show that would showcase metaphysical people and their talents and their gift, right? But I didn't want it to be serious. I wanted it to be fabulous and funny and quirky. And I wanted people to be comfortable, right? Because, psychics, we dress different, right? And we wear jewelry and we wear all kinds of gawky shit, right? I want to show you something, right? Let me see. So many things I could show you. Um, like this is a selenite stone, but look at the etching in it, right? And then there are sigils and symbols and all this kind of stuff. I got this as a gift, right? This is a breastplate of judgment, all right? To explain this, right? I'm not going to explain it today. This is from the book, The Alchemist, right? Or books like The Alchemist, or the next book that we're going to read, um, um, Conversations with God. We're going to read that when tarot class is over, right? So my vision was to have an eclectic space for spiritual people, for spiritual entrepreneurs, right? Now, just imagine what that could mean for people. Now, listen, I wasn't wanting to do this show for me. I wanted the concept to be pushed out for the world, right? And I've been trying to sell the concept forever, but this was before COVID, right? And before COVID, it was like, people look at me like, like they didn't get it 100%. And I understood that. I every time I took the concept to somebody, to some producer or somebody that can create it, it just kind of was exciting. And then they didn't know what to do with the energy. And they were like, well, do you know psychics? So I've tried to produce this concept twice. And one woman's husband, he didn't get it. She got it, of course, but she didn't have the money. He was the producer. So he didn't get it. Another time I tried to produce it with another woman. I'll tell you guys that whole story later. And I'll tell it to you right now. I tried to produce this story with another woman. I can't remember her name, but I have her in my emails. And I was really smart, right? And one, I had to copyright the concept before I told anyone with the Writers Guild. But I emailed myself the concept. Why? I don't know. I just knew that this would be an authentic timestamp. So I had a timestamp 2 different times, because when I did the Writers Guild, it must have been like a year later when I was like, I better, because the Writers Guild, I think, is good for 5 years. And something told me email it to myself. So I was working at a store in California, and I started recruiting people. I said, what would it be like if a bunch of us psychics, because this particular store, these psychics were nuts. They were so nuts, I felt bad for the people that would choose them. I'd be like, if she chose her, she's crazy. She's crazy. Like, I worked around nutty people, seriously. But it's a thing. It's a thing. Being completely batshit crazy in this world is a thing. The line is thin. And most people cross the line to crazy, come back over to normal to pretend to be normal. Most are nuts, right? And so I stayed at this store. You have no idea. As much as I tell you I get fired from places, I actually stay in a lot of places for a number of years. It's weird. I must have stayed at this store for at least 6 years. It was a long time. And with all the same people, there wasn't a high turnover of psychics in this particular store. And so I started recruiting who I considered would be great personality types, eclectic, be able to showcase their intelligence, right? And I started pulling people together. I remember the one thing we didn't have in the store was a pet psychic. So I forget the woman's name that I worked with, but she loved the idea. She's like, I'm a matchmaker. I made a show of matchmaking. I'd love to take your concept and move with it. And I was like, bet, let's do this, right? So the beginning part is to pull the people together. Couldn't find a pet psychic. So the woman who claimed she was a producer, she did find a pet psychic. So we all got together at my house, And the only way I can assess people is to pull people together. I got them together at my house. Here was the thing with the pet psychic. By this time, my sister was with me, right? So I'm pulling all these people. Tony's literally living with me. I'm pulling all these people to my house, and Tony loved the pet psychic, like loved her, and wouldn't stop communicating with her, wouldn't stop talking to her, and I guess made her feel uncomfortable, right? But then I got insulted because I'm watching the innocence of my sister loving this woman from a place deep inside. I don't know why Tony loves the way she loves. And this woman showed disdain for my sister. And it was the first time I recognized, are you a qualified person to talk in front of people when you can't handle a special needs person? Now, don't get me wrong. I am the worst mother out there. I'm the worst. You fuck with me and mine could be dead wrong. I am that mother. I'm not proud of it. Mine could be dead wrong. And I will tell you you're wrong. That's me. You know, you got the mothers out there like that, right? Me, right? If a teacher came to me and was like, your son was a problem today, I'm like, were you a problem for him? That's me. I don't think I was the best mother out there, right? Same thing with my sister. Same thing with my sister. Don't fuck with my sister. That's my sister. And so when it came down to watching her not be able to handle my special needs sister, by the way, who's more gifted than you, trust and believe. And I just sat back, never said a word. But I let these things read up all in that energy. So of course I said to sis finally, I was like, sis, pull back. But I just like her. I like her. I know, sweetie. I know. Pull back. Sit down. Sit back. Sit back. We got a meeting we're trying to do, right? When it came down to one of the other psychics who I loved, we were the best of friends. We had the same personality type. We were so sarcastic. We made fun of everybody in the store because everybody's crazy, right? She calls the producer. I forget what her name is. I want to say Deborah, but I don't think Deborah's the name. She called the producer and she told the producer that I stole her idea. So the producer calls me. You know what that bitch says to me? She goes, Tracey, you're out. And I said, out of what, sweetie? She says, you're out of the show. Show isn't even yours. And I was like, what? This was the first time I recognized white on white, right? Right? There were no black psychics around me, right? It wasn't a thing back then. Sorry, being all gross because I turned my air conditioner off. There was no such thing as blacks. I was the only one for years, right? She goes, you're out. I'm like, out of what? Out of the show. You're going to kick me out of my own show? And she goes, you didn't come up with the concept. The other woman told the producer, I got to put in quotes like that because she actually never produced anything but was kicking me out of my own show, that her son created a concept called Put the Tea On. She told me about that show. And the concept was to have a panel, blah, 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 blah. And that she told me about her son's concept, Put the Tea On. And I said, wow. Wow, are you kidding me? So then I said, when did the son claim he produced it? And so she came up with, we're going back and forth, and she came up with some date. And I said, absolutely not. I already have it registered with the Writers Guild before the date that she said. But in addition to that, I sent an email to myself before the date that she said. So people have been sabotaging the ability to create this panel, right? Of really good people, right? Not crazy ass people. I was looking for really good motherfucking people, right? Cut to, I'm now at a different store, right? That's messed up. Dang, that's dirty. It's all dirty, right? The psychic world can be a mess too, right? Hold on. And besides that, I don't like anybody that messes with my sissy Tony. Anybody messes with my sister Tony, let me tell you something. The legal name of my YouTube channel is My Sister Tony. That's the legal name. I'll prove it. I hate when this happens. Hold on a second. This is my YouTube on Twitter, right? It's something www.youtube.com/user/ look at the bottom, My Sister Tony. That is the legal original name of my channel, right? Let me get rid of this. And period, point blank. Yes, Deborah, mailing was an old-fashioned way. And I was afraid to mail it to have, because that's easy to lose, right? But emailing is a legal document that they accept in the court system. In any case, cut to, I'm at a whole nother store. And I bring the concept up again. Years later, I bring the concept up again. And I go, this time I realized, why am I depending on people to create the concept? I'm going to produce it myself. By this time, we got digital apps, cameras that are effective. Like, we can piece all of this together. At this stage of the game, we are all digitally capable of creating our own reality show, right? So I talked to the psychics in the second store, the Green Man store. And I said, and I didn't discuss it with the Green Man store because the Green Man store tried to produce their own reality show. Didn't work. So I didn't talk to the owners of the Green Man store because they tried and it didn't work. I figured I'd do it on my own, take a couple of sidekicks if they wanted to participate, and let's see if we can create this round table. We got professionals involved this time. Professionals. They did volunteer their time, but it was professional that really believed in the process. And this time around, I wanted to make sure we had a wide range of personalities. Before, it would have been mostly white people. That was the only thing I was around. Years later, right, others started popping up. My favorite were the Spanish or Mexican right? And I was like, who weren't hiding anymore. They weren't hiding behind a veil. They were like, nope, Spanish psychic here, Latinx. And I'm like, wow, I love your personality. Can you come be a part of this show? I invited, so this, so there was a woman that lived at a complex I used to live in. And I knew what the setup inside of the guest house looked like. And so when I found out that she lived in the same complex, I said, you can rent out the guest house. They'll give it to us for the whole day. I used to live there, blah, 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 blah. So she goes, bet, I'll do it. She comes back to me and she goes, Tracey, it costs $100. I was like, that's okay. I'll pay that bill. I go over. Why do I pay by check? Tell me why. I have no idea. I don't pay anything by check, right? I write them a check. We get the date. We are able to all have use of the facility for it was like for 4 or 6 hours. I can't remember. It was kind of a eclectic mess at some point because I realize now personalities are crazy and people wanted to eat. It was a nightmare, right? Well, let's stop, let's eat, everybody, let's go over here. It was a nightmare, but it was kind of fun too. Before we start, I invited a Latinx girl that looked white. My concept was finding somebody from India or Asian, Latinx, Black, white. Now I'm like, this can be done in such a beautiful way. Like the whole world can see how many different types of, you know, metaphysical people they are. Sounds like a great concept, right? I invited a Latinx girl that looked white. So she was there a little early. The person that lived in a complex was there equally as early, right, to greet the people. And she got there a little early. I'm on my way. She texts me or she called me. She goes, I'm here. I'm already sitting down and I'm speaking to, I forget what her name is. I'm speaking to so-and-so. And I was like, great. I'm about 20 minutes away. So stay tight. When I get there, now there's more people there. When I get there, and she pulls me aside and she goes, I need to talk to you. And she goes, who is that woman to you? I said, oh, she's one of the psychics at the store. She lives here. It's because of her that I got this space, but she's participating in a show. And she goes, Tracey, she doesn't like you. And I was like, what are you talking about? She talked about you like a dog. Who did? Who did? And she told me what this woman said about Tracey. I don't know what Tracey thinks she's doing. And that was the first time I realized, and I'm sorry if I'm insulting anybody, but this is my story. It's my story. It's my experience. It was the first time I realized that white women can be jealous of Black women. You didn't come up with the concept. You want to participate in a concept, but now I know you want to participate because if this goes anywhere, you're going to have some back talks to get them to make you the lead. It's my show. So now I can't really enjoy what's happening because I can't confront her in a moment. I have a job to do. We're going to get this job done and we're going to get our footage and we're going to figure out what to do with the footage. But I can't confront her in the moment. But I'm heated that she thought it was okay to make me look inadequate to someone that you didn't even know was a friend, right? Cut to, we finish, we get the footage, I say goodbye. Why does my check bounce? My check bounced. And so when it bounced, I was like, oh, this is going to be bad. And I was like, I should cover the check or since she was such a bitch, let her cover the check. So I don't respond to the bounce statement or whatever that came through. I don't respond to it. When she contacts me and she goes, Tracey, management called me and management told me that your check bounced. And I was like, oh yeah, I know the check bounced. And she goes, we have to cover the $100. And I was like, yeah, normally I would. But I actually heard that you talked about me like a dog. You're trying to take my show from me. And now you want me to cover something when you were being a sneaky bitch? And I said, I will never cover that check. Never. So then we had a group feed and she put it in the group feed to embarrass me. You can't embarrass a black woman. You embarrass a black woman, it's on. Nope. I text her right back in the group feed and told everyone how we got to this point. And I told everyone I will never cover the $100. Now, if any one of you want to cover it, when I tell you that group feed zipped it, shut the fuck up, nobody said nothing. I wonder if I still have that. I don't know if the cloud was out back then. Let me see something. So many years ago. I don't remember her name. Damn it. By the way, I don't get rid of a single text. I got text going back to 2016. You have no idea the story of Tracey. I gathered all the psychics in the store, of the Green Man store. I had people writing articles. I had people creating their own videos and posting it onto the Green Man store. Child, this is my jam. In any case, she then goes to the owners of the Green Man store and she calls herself ratting on me and telling them I tried to create a reality show with their psychics. And motherfuckers don't own anybody. So they pulled me into a meeting and they go, we know about the reality show. And I was like, mm-hmm. And you did not discuss it with us. I don't have to wait. I don't have to discuss anything with you. What's happening here? See, what people don't realize is that I don't co-sign slave mentality. So you want to have a conversation about what you think your rights are with other psychics, and we can't get together to create a product? You don't own anybody. I had to tell them like that. And they're like, well, we just wanted you to know that we knew. All right. All right. Thank you. Oh, are we good here? Well, we have another situation. Another one? You owe whatever her name is. Can't remember her name. You owe so-and-so money. And I was like, oh, yeah, I know. Well, you need, just three of them, three owners. They said, well, you need to pay her. And I said, oh, no, I'm never going to pay her. When I tell you, the looks on their faces was priceless. Priceless. When I saw the look on their faces, and they were like, they go, darling, you have to pay for this. And I said, I don't, and I won't. She tried to ruin the reality show concept right up until the point I'm sitting here in front of all three of you. I will never pay her. Ever. Are we done here? I have an appointment. That's the story. And I'm sticking to it. I had them all shook, Mia. I had them all shook, Mama. I had them all shook. Like, when I don't care, I don't care. When I say, Nicole, I'm Nicole. Make me mad and your foundation will get pulled. If I die, everybody come with me. True story. Great story. I thank you, Deborah. I can't remember her name though. But in any case, whatever. I don't give a fuck. And to this day, that $100, I should have taken that check and put it. You know how you have like keepsakes? I should have taken that check and put it as a keepsake of how I never buckled, ever. I don't come from a slave mentality. You don't get to convince me what's the right thing to do when you people don't do right. Fuck out of here. They mismanaged who they hired. Managed me. All right? They didn't value. To top it off, you guys didn't even value what I brought to the table. How I got all the psychics to write articles. I've got some beautiful articles out there. I really should find a way that you guys can go view the articles. Maybe I should post them on Reddit. It's going back a few years now. Every month, I had someone writing something about the metaphysical world. Every month in the Green Man store. And if you didn't write something, you had to do a video explaining something about the metaphysical world. We would have meetings talking about the next newest concept. And since I've been gone, none of that has ever happened since. But it really allowed people to not just be psychics, but just really open up your creative tools. Like all of us are so much more than just a psychic, right? I'm really good at that kind of stuff in any case. I'm really good at picking the right people, even if once they show themselves, plucked, done. Can I come back in? Never. Once you show you're ugly, out. We don't re-engage. I don't know if I want to open my own shop. I don't think it's about that. And I don't think I've ever really wanted to open my own shop. And now I'm in the Caribbean, and this is a whole new concept. These people are fucking religious out here. I don't know if I want to open my own shop. There's a great shop here already, Love and Light. She does a wonderful job. I am going to sell my candles here. Yeah, I'm going to sell them to the ship people. We're going to sell them to the ship people. All these experiences will lead you to opening your wellness center. Right. And who knew that I was having all these experiences, failed experiences, that could lead to my wellness center? And never let them bite you twice. Never. Never. That was good. True. They may see you as negative. Who? Everyone sees me as negative. I either get people that absolutely love me or mention to this day, both the stores, you mention my name, there are two reactions. Aww. Or, wait, is she here? What? Who mentioned Tracy? And you know what? I love the people at the Green Man store. When I tell you that they taught me so much about pagan rituals, Italian magic, just things that had to open me up that I was not engaging with, right? The horn of this, the horn of that. There's a Christmas celebration that they do. I don't know if it's Saturnalia, something like that, or Krampus, but they're very close together. I think Krampus is where you dress the opposite. Something about opposites. I just can't remember because I'm so far removed from the concept in the store now. And then I think they don't celebrate Christmas, but they celebrate Saturn. Let me check it out. Saturnalia. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Yes. Saturnalia, right? Oh, sorry. Saturnalia, right? It's an ancient Roman festival and holiday in honor of the god Saturn on the 17th of December in the Julian calendar, and later expanded with festivities through Christmas, right? So they celebrated Saturnalia, right? But I didn't mind, right? It's amazing when you could be a part of something that's not a part of your makeup, right? Right? Because that would be very racist of me in a metaphysical sense, right? And I know what racism feels like. So if these people celebrate different, I want to know about it. It's not evil, right? It's not. None of it is evil. And then they celebrate Krampus. Krampus. I liked Krampus too. So Krampus kind of looks evil. It does. What's the true story of Krampus? Krampus was thought to have been part of a pagan ritual for the winter solstice. Oh, that makes sense now, because the winter solstice is December 21st. So we would have the Saturnalia, and then they would separate it. You didn't have two parties at once. According to legend, he is the son of Hel, Hel, and the Norse god of the underworld. With the spread of Christianity, Krampus became associated with Christmas, despite efforts by the Catholic Church to ban the celebration. So this is a pagan ritual, and I believe that I came to the Green Man store to learn about something outside of Christianity. You guys don't understand. Christianity keeps you stuck. Most of you don't even know the Bible. I promise you, you don't know what you think you know. You only know the parts of the Bible that can be fed to you. I've always grown up with people that could quote the Bible, but they're less than human beings, right? And I'm always fascinated by that. How can you quote the Bible but have a black heart? Well, Jesus said in the Bible, well, God said in the Bible, and yet you as an individual is problematic, right? You as a pastor can quote anything off the top of your head. It's a beautiful thing to be able to do that, but you don't put that same knowledge that you're spewing out to the world and put it here, right? So I was always fascinated by Christian people growing up, not knowing anything about pagan rituals. Once I got around a pagan community, I was like, oh, of course the Catholic Church would try and stop this, because the Catholic Church tried to rule. So they would stamp out anything, including the slave gods and goddesses. So going to the store and learning of their gods and goddesses then led me to Yoruba traditional training of my gods and goddesses. I had no one to teach me about my African gods and goddesses. African people weren't even in the country the way they are today. Not when I was growing up, right? So how is a story going to begin to leak out when they wouldn't let the African community in the country, right? And so I could only have what God had presented me to. So there were no mistakes that I went to one store. There's no mistake that I went to the Green Man store. And I stayed at the Green Man for 6 or 7 years. And I kept asking God, why am I in a pagan store? And I would hear God say, shut up and sit down. I was like, that's not the answer. You realize you put me in a pagan store? And God would say, shut up and sit down. I must have asked God 3, 4 times, why am I here? Well, because, by the way, none of the pagans would come to me for a reading because I was the Christian psychic. I thought it would be fun to go against the grain and make myself the Christian psychic. And so I put crosses all up in my room. It was hilarious. I even asked the public to send me their crosses. And you know, people did. Let me show you something. Hold on. I don't throw anything away. And this delicate little piece of mother of pearl was one of the crosses that somebody sent me that I put on my wall. So at some point, if you look back in some old videos, I've got all these crosses on my wall. It came from the people because I was so mad at the pagan store that I was like, I'm going to make this the Christian room, right? And so I was like, everybody, send me crosses. And people did. And everybody that sent me something, I put it on the back of the wall. This little piece right here has been with me for the test of time. She's my friend to this day. To this day, she's my friend, and participates in a spiritual group. Look how pretty that is. Look how pretty. So I value things, and remember, guys, I'm coming from California, right? Still holding on to a little piece of gem and a reminder of people's kindness. I got to put it back because that's the other thing. If I don't, doesn't matter. My point to you is the pagan community, and by the way, I took classes for 2 years under the pagan leader in our store. I forget his name, Griffin. I took classes from Griffin. Jill was the owner. I forget the Carrie. Griffin and Carrie were the teachers. We took classes because God said, shut up and sit down. And I was like, why am I here? And he's like, oh my gosh, just shut up and sit down. And I was like, well, God, if you're going to keep me here, I might as well go to classes. I learned so much from that store. I am of gratitude for the Green Man store, because what I didn't realize is that they were restructuring my brain to get ready for my African goddesses, which I didn't know was even a thing. The Green Man store has restructured my soul. And whatever, Krampus, Saturn, Leah, I don't care. I don't care. I'm grateful to God that God says, I trust these people. I have never found anything wrong in that store. And let me tell you something. I participated in rituals. Oh, yes, I did. Mhm. When I tell you I have intimate knowledge of magic, you have no idea. What's in this brain that acts ditzy? Because I enjoy being ditzy. Seriously, I just enjoy it. You have no idea. You have no idea. So, and no, the school, no, it wasn't free. Well, no, I paid for classes. These people are not crazy. I paid for classes, and I went for 2 years, different classes. One would end, pick up another one. The classes would end let me tell you something. The classes would end 9 o'clock at night, right? At the time, I didn't have a car. I had to walk to the train station. It's dark, people. It's a little desolate in North Hollywood on Lancashire Boulevard. The further down you go, Lancashire Boulevard, the more desolate it gets. Never was harmed, never was hurt. I'm getting on the train at 9:30. I'm getting out of the train in Koreatown like at 10 o'clock. From 10 o'clock, I would have to walk home. Never had a problem. That's how much God wanted me to be educated. Kept everyone at bay. Yep, yep. I love researching and doing international magic. That's a good way of putting it, Lisa D. I'm doing a lot of Middle Eastern tablets of faith. I've done Italian magic with oil and water. Well, if you want to ever take classes with the most, I love this woman, Italian woman. I know she comes out of the Green Man store. Her name is Monica. The next time she has a class, I'll tell you. Then there's a young girl that I just simply adore, Shauna, who is really growing into this authentic coven-based teacher. The teaching that she does, her classes are amazing. If you guys want me to mention all of that, I've had them on my show, by the way, right? I think it was called not the Pursuit of Happiness. I forgot, something about happiness. I've had them on my show. I have respect and know God exists. Tracy had a beautiful experience about 5 years ago, but honestly, religion is a mafia. Yeah, but you know, mafias die. Mafias can't exist for too long either. Italian magic, it's a specific name. What is the name of Italian magic? It's a very specific, it's beautiful. Hold on. What is, does anybody know, is the name, I'll just ask Monica, what is the name of Italian magic? I think it's a leader. Oh, here it goes. Stregonetia. Stregonetia. I'm pronouncing it wrong, but that's as close as I'm going to get. It's described Italian folk magic. It's common mostly amongst Italian Americans practitioners. Stregonetia. Folk magic traditionally would usually be called something along the lines of fixers, healers, those who help. But to be called a witch would be a direct insult. Mm-hmm. And their magic, very, very specific, child. I learned magic in Staten Island. That's where I got my first lessons in magic. And they wanted to recruit me into a coven. And the only reason why I didn't want to be in a coven, because I felt like it would be controlling. So at the very last stage, you're supposed to honor a particular god or goddesses. And I hadn't had enough education to know that's not a bad thing. And I didn't understand what, like, is witch magic the same as religion? And it's just being transposed. Like, I didn't want to be controlled. So at the very last class, I had to refuse to give grace to a particular god. I had to refuse it because I just didn't know what that meant. And she said, if you don't give grace to a particular god, you can't come in a coven. And I was like, I'm comfortable with that. So I finished the last class my way, but I did not overtly give grace to a particular goddess. And I mean, the god, it could have been the god of Venus, right? The goddess of Venus. I just was so new and raw that I didn't want anyone to change my molecular structure just yet, because religion meant so much to me at the time, because I was so ignorant that I didn't understand that I was being disciplined in a Black community based upon slave mentality. I didn't understand that. And so I couldn't conform unless I understood. And that took years to unravel. And now I know that God put me in a pagan store to stop this bullshit. Stop it. Now I know why God put me in a pagan store. Now I know why God said, shut up and sit down. And by the way, my YouTube channel, started out of that store. So I will always be grateful to them. Always. All right. Once again, story of Tracy. Yeah. Oh, you knew it already. Yeah. See, Deborah was trying Striga. Yes, yes. I'm not pronouncing it right anyway. Please give us more information. Information. Yes, give us the class. Oh, of course. I would be terrified to walk that time of night alone. Let me tell you something. Babies and fucking fools. Who does God protect? Idiots. Because I was not a baby. Idiots. Nothing ever happened to me. And this went on for 2 years. Yeah. My dad used to joke. My dad, God takes care of me because I'm a fool. And I'm be like, yeah, you are. I don't know why God keeps protecting you. But then I got older and his statement was more true than I could fathom. If God wants you to do something, if God needs you to get somewhere, everybody else will die around you. You will not. You're going to get on the other line. You could be like, I don't know. They're all dead back there. How did you make it? I don't know. But here I am. Because maybe now, in hindsight, right now I'm more removed. I realize I didn't know this guy, so I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I understand what God is doing with me. He is using me as a tool for you all to get out of the slave mentality that you have. One, he's using you all, Karens, to understand you suffer from the same slave mentality, just polar opposites, right? So I do realize I'm here to help. My way can be a little harsh, I get that, but I'm still here to help. And that's the main reason why I had to go through what I went through. To take my YouTube channel, which was only about celebrity drama, because they lie all the time. I'm looking at Access Hollywood and bullshit, and I'm like, they're lying. They're lying. Ben Affleck does not like J-Lo. It's the first time, right? They're gonna break up. And I was like, I'm talking to myself here. Let me start doing a YouTube channel because I actually see, right? I see the future. I know J-Lo and Ben are not going to stay together the first time. By the way, they're not going to stay together this time either. Somebody remember this video when it comes down to it. All right, I talked too long, hour and a half. The story of Tracy. But yes, when there are classes, the Green Man store broke the system inside of me, broke the religious cult that was inside of me. So I'm of gratitude that I have. Oh, let me tell you, I have a terrible reputation in California. Terrible. I mean, people are actually scared of me. You can't mention my name in California and people be like, why are we talking about her? Right? So I go to the Green Man's. I called a friend at the Green Man store, right? And I said, hey, is there any room for me at the store? And he said, and I never met up with him again. I don't even remember his name. I was so grateful. And he said, I met him at the other store. And then he moved over to the Green Man store and he said, Tracy, we're revolting. We're all leaving. And I said, really? Now, I said to myself, you guys are fucking idiots. Why are you revolting? Like, I didn't understand the concept. Like, what could be so bad that all of you would all leave all at the same time? What could be so bad? But it must have taught the Green Man store some kind of lesson, right? So then I get in there, they were down to one psychic who, and everybody else had come from this particular store. So they all came from one store, came to another store. So when they went to leave, they played follow the leader, right? One girl was left in the store. And so I walked in the store and I said, second time I had been in the store, because, oh my God, there's so much to tell you. The first time I had been in the store, I spoke to the owner, Jill, and she said, let me show you around. So she went to show me around. And as she's shown around, my psychic antennas are beaming. And I said, Jill, this is a wonderful space, especially up here, which was a blank canvas. I said, if you get psychics, the psychics will take care of the store, meaning one set of funds up here and the store is the retail store. And I'm like, this is a gold mine. This is what I'm thinking, right? I went to visit a third time and she had already implemented the psychics. I asked to work at the time. They said no, because there was another woman at the other store that had convinced them that she should be the leader and hire psychics. So she stole psychics from the other store, but I didn't know she didn't like me. I had no idea, right? So I called this black guy that was working at the store and I was like, hey, do you think there's a place for me? And he was like, yeah, there's a place for you because we're all leaving. And I'm thinking, why would you all leave? Like, you're a bunch of idiots. Like, stick it out. But I didn't say that to him. I said, I went to go visit the store. There was only one psychic left that was not a part of the group. And I said, can I come work at the store? Very humble, very sweet, very innocent looking. And he looked at me. This is Griffin. Griffin looked at me and he goes, Griffin goes, we know about you, darling. And I was like, what? And he goes, we know about your reputation, darling. And I was like, oh. And he goes, we know that you're a troublemaker. I'm paraphrasing. And I go, And he goes, we're going to let you be here one day a week. And if you cause any trouble, you are out of here. And I said, I'll take one day a week. And I said, I won't be any trouble. I promise. I won't be. And I was in trouble for the first 5 years. And then I became really popular. And I became the most sought after psychic. And then I got cocky. And then the other girls couldn't understand why I was so busy because I'm the best psychic, bitch. Right? I started saying that to them. I don't understand because I'm the best. I'm busy. One after. I was so busy because this walk-ins, I had people lined up against the wall waiting for me. While my counterparts, they would offer them. I'd be like, Tracy's busy. She's about an hour behind. Do you want to wait? I can put you with another psychic. They would wait. Well, I mean, at that point, now I'm training psychics how to be better psychics, how to create articles, how to put out videos. Oh, my black ass was on and cracking. Whatever promise I made to you, one day a week, I am now 5 days a week and fabulous. Promise broken. So I started showing my ass. And I started cussing out all the others. I mean, all of them. People tried to take my energy from me. People tried to put black magic on me. Black magic on me. People would take things out my room because, you could take a material and you could do little magic. Nothing worked. None of them hoes could get me out the store. All the magic they tried to perform because they weren't good. Remember? Your black magic can't work. You can't even get a client, bitch. But I didn't know about the black magic. It wasn't until I was completely out the store that I started hearing rumors about how often they perform black magic. I was like, what? That's like a little 5-year-old lighting a birthday candle and calling it magic. You hoes ain't got the magic. I was dying because nothing worked. They tried for 3 years to get me up out of here. Nothing worked. Let me see what everybody's saying. That is, some angels seem to have an ever presence of protection. Yes, this is true for me and my mother. Yes, I've had psychics tell me that spirits are around me. Yes, there is an ever presence of psychic protection. The way I see it is that if God needs you to do something very, very specific and he needs you to get there, you're protected. You have to be protected. God doesn't want you back up there too soon, right? Unless you do something to hurt yourself. So at some point, here's how I got out the store. Again, it's God. My sister had been molested. And when she got molested, it put her in a fetal position. She wouldn't talk. She wouldn't eat. I don't know how they fed her because she was in a full fetal position. And she was even paralyzed a little bit in a fetal position. Like you try to stretch out her arm and she was in a full fetal position. You guys don't know that story. I'll tell you that story. But I used to go to the hospital, psych ward. They put her on a psych ward. I used to go to the hospital to sit with her. You guys don't know these stories. For hours. And I figured, thank God for the Green Man store, right? Working from home, I created that concept long before COVID. So I told the Green Man store, all of my calls are over the phone. If you can just encourage them to phone in their readings, I could just work from my sister's hospital bed. My sister is literally crawled up on her bed, and I've got the tarot cards on her bed reading people. And I did that for about 2 years. Yeah. Until she began to, I have a video I could show you guys of an event where it's a nightmare. It doesn't matter. But I even have proof of the event and what the hospitals did to my sister and why it was more important for me to be there every day to be with her. And I just did my readings out of her bedside. Yeah. So I invented working from home. And so from that point on, I had changed my days. I would go 2 days in and 3 days working from home. So for 2 days, once she got better, but it took like 18 months, then I didn't have to be there every day. So I'd be like, well, Tony, remember tomorrow I'm not coming. So like Tuesdays and Thursdays, I would go into the store, and the rest of the days I would sit in the hospital with my sister, right? And that's how they finally got me out the store. What they began to realize was that the place was more copacetic, it was quiet, it was lovely, it was ooh, just the way the crazy, inauthentic psychics love it. They like to pretend that they're great psychics. And, ooh, I'm a psychic and I'm a fairy and I'm this and I'm that. And what they discovered was that the place was quiet without me. They liked it without me. So one day I was working, doing a reading for the Green Man store when they sent me an email and they said, we love you. We love you. The other psychics, they're having issues with you. So what we'd like to do is permanently separate, but still present your readings to you through the store. And so I looked at the email and I spoke with God and I was like, it's time, isn't it? It's just time. So I waited a couple of days and I sent an email back and I said, I love you all too. I said, I think it's time for me to just go off on my own, right? And that's how they got me up out of there. They got me up out of there because Tony made the decision. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you don't know the story of Tony. Please. It's a nightmare. That story, the story of Tony, that's a whole separate story time. When I tell you a mixture of I love you, sis, this is hell, I can't even tell you. I can tell you so many things. None of it is a secret. The woman that owned the home where my sister was molested by her fucking relative, it's a long story. She had to give the home up. The health department could not believe the story, could not believe the story, and felt their responsibility to never have this happen again. So they ripped her to shreds. And when you got the health department on your ass, you can't survive. You can't. First witness, you can't survive. All right. I know, Janine. I'll tell you guys the story of Tony. That needs to be a whole separate YouTube channel. Tracy, did Ryan and I meet you at the Green? Yes. Yes, I'll never forget. I'll never forget. You both met me at the Green Man store. I'm going to tell this one story, Janine, about your story. Janine wanted to move to Texas. And I read the cards and I go, it's going to flood. Don't do it. It's going to flood. So Janine doesn't go for years. She just doesn't move. I don't know if it was because of me or not. She makes a decision to go. When she goes, it flooded. I don't know if you remember that, Janine. I was like, Ryan, what? I don't know if you remember that. It makes sense that you come from an island of women warriors. Yep. Lisa Dino saying you have no idea. These women here, warriors back in the day, before Christopher Columbus came along and killed them all. Yeah. All right. The meaning of your name, Leo sign, all these things are signs that you're protected. Also, my name Tracy means warrior. Some have expressed fear and say they cannot read me and suggest that I pursue learning on my own. Well, Katrina, first of all, who the fuck can't read you? Don't trust anybody that says that they can't read you. Anyone can be read. Anyone. But if they find you too powerful to read, then they should be afraid of you. I've had many people when I go, you are powerful. You better recognize your gift. Hi, Carmen. Oh, thank you for sharing your gifts. Thank you. This is true. Some individuals seem to have an ever-present. Oh, yeah. All right, guys. How did we spend an hour and 43 minutes? I'm telling you, at the age that I'm at, the Bruno age, we got stories. If you get to the Bruno age, we got stories. Remember when you all didn't want to listen to your grandmamas, right? Because she was so goddamn annoying. She got stories. I'm just replacing grandma. This kitchen table talk. Got your coffee ready? Got your coffee? That's what this is. This is grandma's time. Except you can call me Dory. All right, guys. This was a good session about nothing. And once again, I didn't do my job. By the way, this is exactly how I did my job, unless it was psychic work. That's the only time I ever worked. If I had a clerical job, I couldn't work for 2 hours. There are two to talk about. I'm trying, sweetie. You work. Look at all this paperwork. Of course I'm working. Why wouldn't I'm working? And then I'd be like, okay, let me tell you. So when I went to the supermarket, that's how I used to work, 2 hours. I got paid for nothing half the times. You want to pay me minimum wage? You get minimum wage attitude. I quiet quit while I was working. Bruno H. I have a suspicion that it was racially based. New Jersey can be a trip. All right. Well, Katrina, I mean, first of all, if anybody suggests you should come into the world, you should figure out how to come into the world. You should figure out what it is that they're afraid of. You should figure out your powers. You're probably very gifted. All right, I gotta get out of here. You know I could do this for 5 hours. I love you. Goodbye. And excuse me, CNN, I want to do my job. They don't want me to do my job. 2 days in a row, I'm not doing my job, people. Tomorrow, we're going to go over, we're not talking about the story of Tracey. Absolutely not. We are going to do 3 days of the 5 things you need to know, whatever CNN wants to talk about. It's all bullshit anyway. I love you guys. Take it easy. Bye.
Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live.